The universe is abundant. There is abundance everywhere, and you are the universe. If you choose to see abundance, it will start flowing to you. But the problem is, majority of people decide, because everything starts with a decision. Majority of people decide that they'd rather look at lack and struggle and pay more attention to that than they would for the abundant side of things. You already know that you're the universe acting as a human form. You are everything that you already need to be. So why are you struggling? Why is it that you're seeing other people doing more or better than you? Why is it that you keep questioning yourself? And why is it that you can't get to where you want to be able to get to? Why is it that you're going around in circles? Something goes well today, and the next few days it goes back. 1 month your income strives, the second month your income strives, but somehow it levels out to whatever you've earned all the time. When you start understanding that there is an algorithm to the universe, you can start creating and making things so much easier for yourself that things will just start moving into this most simplistic form that you'll start questioning yourself if you're the magician or not. And this is the thing. You are the creator. But when people start saying that you can create this or you can create that, what if I told you that you don't need to? What if I told you that you could just create everything in a much simple and easier form? Because when we talk about creation, Neville spoke about how creation is already finished. And what he meant by that was that everything already exists. You see, when you start allowing yourself to be the vibration or the frequency of the things that you already want, that thing starts becoming closer to you. So therefore, you never ever created anything anyway. All you did was match the frequency of the thing that you want. And how do you do that? You start to realize that there is an algorithm to this universe. And I'm going to make it very, very easy for you throughout this video. Now, I want you to think about the algorithm on your phone. A lot of people say, my phone's listening to me. Every time I say something, it pops up on my screen. I'm talking about a holiday, I start saying holidays. I'm talking about an AC unit start popping up on my phone. I'm talking about paddle rackets, football boots, or whatever it may be, and you start seeing it on your phone. Your life is exactly the same. There is an algorithm to this world. There is an algorithm to this universe. There is an algorithm to this life that we call life. And like I said, unfortunately, majority of people are not playing with this algorithm. Majority of people are allowing this algorithm to dictate their life in ways that they don't actually want it to be. They go throughout life, and by the end of where they want to be, they look back and they start thinking, I should have done this differently and I should have done that differently. So what is the algorithm of the life? What is algorithm of this universe? What is the algorithm of what we are and how we can create our potential? Because there is infinite potential. There is constant accumulation of possibility in this universe. So then how can we tap into that? How can we become that frequency of the desire of the wish fulfilled? It all starts with your beliefs. You see, I want you to stop thinking about the way you think for a moment. I want you to think about the essence of what you are. And if I said at the start that you are the universe playing human form, then your beliefs start becoming very different now. You see, if you started to become in your mind a sense of universe in this hand, for example, and in that hand you put all your beliefs, and then you take another universe, and in this universe you put a set of other beliefs in it, right? And then you look at it from an outside perspective, from what you are today in this hand to what you want to become are two very different beliefs. And from those beliefs alone, you have various different paths from it. All right? So start thinking of yourself as not this person that's walking around, that's just seeing things from their eye and struggling with this and struggling with that. Start seeing yourself as a piece of potential, right? And in that piece of potential, these things called beliefs live. But the problem is that majority of people don't want to look at those beliefs. The majority of people don't even think about those beliefs. People don't think about who they are inside when nobody else is watching. You know, when you're sitting down by yourself in silence, which a lot of people struggle to do, who is it that you are in that moment? Are you that individual who isn't confident? Are you that individual who would rather do things that are not going to actually contribute to the things that you want to do? Are you that individual who is worried inside that they might not make it? Are you that individual who starts something and never finishes it? You see, they're your beliefs. And they started a long time ago. And they've been forming. The way I like to talk about beliefs with my clients is, you've got belief towers in your mind. Okay? These are all towers. You've got big towers, you've got small towers. Right? Now, in these towers, whichever tower is bigger is going to dictate what your belief is. Okay? So if there's a part of that belief which says you're not confident, or it says, I start but don't finish, and then there's smaller beliefs that say, you are good enough. Which one do you think is going to win? Which one is taking more space? Which one is taking more space in your mind? Because those beliefs that are taking up more space live rent-free. And whilst they live rent-free there, they're going to be taking up all that space, they're going to be taking up a lot more space, and they're going to be dictating everything that you do thereafter. This is why your beliefs are so important. But the problem is, majority of people don't actually know what their beliefs are. Because on a conscious level, you may be thinking that I can do this and I'm confident and I am the savior and I can do that. But deep down, you're actually this. Or deep down, you're this type of person. You can show the world whatever you want on a conscious level. Anybody could do that. But the problem is, if deep down all of these things are there, then unfortunately, you're going to find it very difficult to move forward. And what you're going to see is when your beliefs are so embedded, because majority of your beliefs are formed when you were a child. And anything that has a heightened emotional state can become a belief. So I want you to think about that for a moment. Anything that becomes a high emotional state, because your mind doesn't speak English, your mind doesn't speak a language, your mind speaks frequency. Your mind speaks on a level of understanding, memory, experience, expectation, etc. All of those are frequencies. All of those are a form of vibration. Okay? So when you can move to a level of understanding yourself, because this is inner alchemy, when you allow yourself to understand who you are, you understand what alchemy means. Because you start moving from who you are today to different types of being of you, right? Because there's parallel universes every single where. And all of that starts with your belief. Right? So what are your beliefs deep down? Because like I said, anything that has a high emotional state lives rent-free. So those individuals, for example, who unfortunately had to go through a difficult childhood, that's embedded. Or if you got to a teenage year and you lost a close individual to you, a family member, a friend, or relative, whatever it may be, anything with a high emotional state lives rent-free unless you face it and move on from it. Right? So these are your beliefs. These are what dictate a lot of what we do every single day. And the algorithm continues. Because thereafter, you have your actions. Now, the way I want you to think about actions is this. People in the Neville Goddard community the moment you start saying that you have to take action, they say, oh, no, you don't. You just have to think about the wish fulfilled and that's it, everything will come. No, I completely disagree. When you are at that level of frequency of what you desire, naturally you do. You take the action that you naturally would. For example, if you are somebody who wants to become a speaker, right? And all you're doing is imagining the state of you becoming a speaker, but you're not creating videos, you're not sending out your brochures to anybody, you're not sending out your pack to anybody, you're not speaking to anybody about any speaking gigs, you're not doing anything about it, you're not going to get a speaking gig. If you're not seen and you're not known, you're not going to be anywhere, right? So when you level when you actually allow yourself to become the person of that frequency, then this happens naturally, byproduct. This is a byproduct of that. And then when we talk about parallel universe, start with your beliefs. Now, if this is you as somebody who is not confident, somebody who is confident, somebody who is nervous, somebody who is an introvert. Now, if this is you in these different forms, in your beliefs, you are going to create different paths for you. These are the different paths that you create from being this individual. Okay? These are your beliefs embedded in you. The reactions that you take after that are these, which take you to different paths. Okay? This is why we say that everything already exists. You just need to tap into the frequency of that person. Because when you start tapping into that frequency, your path changes. Now, for example, if this is where you want to be, but this is who you are right now, what will start happening is as you change yourself and your beliefs, you can start matching that path. And you start living into that frequency, into that parallel universe where everything already exists, but you've just tapped into it and become somebody new. You see, the algorithm is so simple, but we make it difficult for ourselves. We make simple things very, very difficult. And thereafter actions, we have your results. If these are the paths that are given to us after we've taken our actions because of what our beliefs are, they're the results that we see. So start looking around you now. Think about everything that you have around you, because none of it is by coincidence. Nothing around you that you have today is a coincidence. Everything that you have around you has been created by you. You have leveled to that frequency of everything that you have around you. So I want you to think about it. If you're living nice today, you have a nice car, you have a nice house, you've got money in your bank, everything's cushy, you created that. Or if you're on the other side, where you're struggling, opportunities aren't coming in, business is failing, you want to become a business person that you see other people doing, but you keep struggling, right? Things aren't going to where you want it to be. Everything has come from this. That is where it started. So when you start looking around you, you are able to see that everything that you already have is what you created a while back. And if it doesn't change, then what's happening is you're continuously living in a cycle. You're just living in a constant loop with the same results, same opportunities, same person, same everything. So as long as you are the same in terms of the algorithm, then all you're going to receive is the same. Nothing is going to change unless you move. Nothing is going to change unless you change. Because every change starts with you. Why? Because of this. And the final piece of the algorithm is feedback. But the problem is that majority of people will not look at this and want feedback. You see, when you start looking at the results that you have around you, you start saying, okay, so if I've created this, then what do I need to change? That's how you should be thinking. But majority of people don't look at that. What they do is they allow. They don't actually take a step back and think, okay, what can I do differently? How can I think differently? How can I propose things differently in order to get different results? Why? Because people love being in this area. This here is comfort. This here is so comfortable that they get the same, see the same, think the same, do the same every single day. Years have passed and they have no idea why other people are now flying into different directions and they're still in the same position. The algorithm is simple. We have created things to be so difficult for ourselves and we can't understand how to get out of it. So I want you to think about this for a moment. Just like I said at the start, start viewing yourself as not a person walking through this world. Start viewing yourself as potential, right? If this is you with different types of potential, where could that lead you? You see, when you start viewing it from that point of view, everything changes and becomes easier. And once you start doing this and looking at it from a perspective of potential, things change dramatically. I'll see you in the next video.